Hang in
Dude,
there. It is.
that's Smylie Kaufman for 61. Wow.
I'm Smylie Kaufman, and this is The Smylie Show.
All right, guys, welcome back to another episode of The Smylie Show. We're making history today. We have our first female professional golfer joining the podcast today, and it's none other than my good friend, Jessica Korda. Jessica, thank you for joining us, and you have a great shirt on today, sweatshirt. If you're watching on YouTube, you can see it. Mama Grinch. I mean, this is a new mom in Jessica. She is absolutely crushing that game. But Jess, how's life? Tell me more.
Well, first off, I'm honored to be the first because you never forget your first. So I'm just so honored to be here. Finally got the call. I've only been liking your posts since you literally day one.
Oh, A1 day one. God, thank you, Jess.
So I got the look. I'm really happy to be here. And yeah, Mama Grinch, I felt like, represent. It's about to be appropriate to wear this in public at all times now. So very, very excited about it.
Oh, you're a boy mom. How is that? I mean, are we 10 months about, give or take in?
Almost, yeah, a couple more weeks and we're 10 months. Still not sleeping through the night. So if he makes it to 10 months, it's going to be 10 months of no sleep. But we're powering through.
And Grayson, right? Is that his name?
Mm-hmm.
What was the inspiration behind that?
I just really like the name. It was just different. I don't know too many of them. Everyone always says that you realize how many people you don't like when you're trying to name a kid.
Yes.
And so you're just like, okay, well, I actually don't know any Graysons, so this is perfect.
Oh my gosh, it is so true. Because there was like 3 or 4 names that I really liked, and I would tell Francis, like, what about this name? She's like, no. I mean, I went to school with this person named Max, and they were not cool. They were mean. I'm like, okay, all right, we're Xing off that one. So
I know.
Yeah. All right. So we're 10 months in, and we're not going through the night yet. That sucks.
Yeah. So if you got any tips, hit me up.
Luckily, Anna Carter's, she was sleeping through the night like 3 months. We've been super lucky on the sleeping front from that. I think she gets that from Dad, though. Dad sleeps through the night pretty good.
We sleep through the night real good. So does Dad.
Yeah.
It's okay. We're powering through. We got this.
What's his birthday?
February 3rd.
Okay. Close to Anna Carter. They might be in the same like solar thing or whatever you call the I don't know, what do you call the thing where, like, I'm Sagittarius? What's that called?
What is it in English?
I don't know. They might be in the same, dude. Yeah.
Aquarius. I think they're
because Anna Carter's January 16th, so they could be matches for all we know.
Yeah,
who knows?
2024 babies apparently are Gen Alphas, so I'm like, it's cool. Just got an alpha at home. We're good.
Well, how's Charlie adjusted? This is your dog. It's a little doodle, right? If I recall.
Yeah, we definitely ruined his life. He like loves Grayson, and I think when Grayson's in his high chair eating, that's Charlie's favorite time of the day because Grayson just leans over and just kind of goes like this at him, and Charlie's in prime position to always get fed. But other than that, not all the attention is on him, and he doesn't get to go with Mom everywhere like he used to. And so, yeah, he definitely sulks a little bit more, and you can see it, but he gets so much more love and like snuggles. It's just, we don't really let him play inside the house because he doesn't realize, like, these are not my toys. These are Grayson's toys. Well, why, that looks like my toy. Why can't I have that toy? So he kind of just like sits around and is a little sad about it, but I feel like the adjustment is going to be the same for every dog.
I know. My sweet girl, Rosie, 95-pound golden retriever. She was probably, before we had Anna Carter, close to like the 85, 90-pound range, but she's put on a good, hard, like freshman, 10 to 15 from this whole feeding experience with Anna Carter, because she doesn't just give it, she just throws it at Rosie. She enjoys feeding Rosie. And we try to make it stop, and then of course now she's big enough because like we have this little small table that Anna Carter can sit at, and Rosie's just right at eye level with it, so she's she used to be so well behaved with food. Now she's literally a raccoon.
She's like, I'm ready, just where what hand, how far? Like the beggar, like they turn into just beggars. And Yeah,
Well,
it's sad. It's fine.
well, as a mom, Jess, what's been your favorite like time period like with Grayson? Has it been the beginning, like towards the end of this? Like what's been your favorite period of the first 10 months?
I don't know. I feel like, the newborn scrunch and the newborn snuggles, and you're sleeping a lot and you're kind of in this like little like bubble. I felt like that was amazing. And just like looking at this baby that you grew and that, is half you, half your husband is, I think, one of the coolest things. Cause like, you look at your app as you're pregnant and you're like, now I'm growing eyes, like now I'm growing whatever. And you're just like, this is insane. Like I literally grew every piece of you. And then as he got older, it was the smiles, the giggles, and now like the crawling, the pulling up, the following me around the house. He's got a whole personality now. And,
He's walking?
no, not walking. Oh my
Okay,
God, no.
I started falling around the house. I was like, okay.
Following like a dog. Like
Got it. Okay.
him and Charlie next to each other are just like crawling around the house, just following me.
Well, you're about to enter the stairs period. You know that, right? So like whenever Grayson does start to walk, you don't have stairs. Okay. That's like the one those 2 months as a parent were the worst. Cause like all they want to do is explore the world. And then the stairs are like, hey, here's real life. Boom. That was a tough period.
Yeah, no, I think I only have like a couple of friends that have stairs, and luckily he hasn't figured that out yet. So we're still safe. I'm just worried about the walking. Like everyone's like, oh, I can't wait for my kid to walk. I'm like, I'm literally the opposite. Like once they start walking, then they start running, and then I'm just like literally gonna be on the go 24/7. Like this way I can still pick them up and we have some sort of speed control around the house with the crawling.
Yeah. Man, oh man. Yeah. So can you take me back from, when you found out you were pregnant to where you are now? I know last year at some point your back was an issue with leaving the game to try to get that healthy. Have you gotten to play much golf from the time you've became pregnant, dealing with an injury, and then now being a mom? Like, where are we with golf? Are we cool with it? Are we healthy? Where are we?
We're at the exploration stage. I was going to have a procedure right after I kind of announced that I was done. Mm-hmm. And 6 days before the procedure, I found out I was pregnant. So I kind of took that as a sign to not explore the procedure for a little bit. I took my entire pregnancy to not rotate, to just give my back a break. Like I've been rotating since I was 5 years old, like literally had a club in my hand since I was 5, and professional since I was, for 13 years. And so I was like, okay, like this is going to be a nice break. Like what's normal life look like outside of COVID? Cause like the first time we had a taste of normal life was COVID. And then this is obviously different, but I just try to do normal things and survive pregnancy. I definitely didn't have the easiest pregnancy ever. Second trimester was definitely the breeze of my pregnancy. After that, I was like, oh my God, what is this?
That couldn't have made your back feel any good.
Yeah, there's a lot of moving parts. You got a lot of relaxin hormone in you, and I visited the chiropractor quite often.
Yeah,
actually, 3 days postpartum as well.
Where in your back, Jess? Like just from a golf standpoint, like where in your back was giving you troubles? Was it lower, middle, upper?
L4, L5, S1. So just couldn't even like lift my legs up at the end, and like brushing my teeth, like just normal stuff, like literally not sleeping because you can't even like change positions. And I tried everything too. And then I was like, okay, we're done. Like we can't do this. This is not a good life to live. But yeah, I mean, the pregnancy, I feel like things happen in life exactly how they're supposed to. And I think, getting pregnant with Grayson when I did was a blessing in many ways, especially for my back. And now I feel like lifting a kid, you learn proper techniques because you realize very quickly that 20 pounds every 2 minutes is like not going to be good if you don't have the correct squatting position and like all this other stuff. So in a way, this is like really great for me because I did go hit a couple of balls here and there and just sticking to wedges, and like it feels okay. It doesn't feel bad. And I'm nipping it too. I went to Medalist and You know, med can be pretty tight sometimes and grainy.
Yeah. That's the Chili Chunk Central
medalist. Oh, yeah. No, I was nipping like most of my wedge shots. I think I chunked like one or two, and that was like very much speed related.
Yeah.
But I was like, wow, she still got this.
Let's
I love this for me.
I love that. That's amazing. Man,
so, yeah.
that's when it comes to injuries, it's so difficult sometimes to give yourself a break and let yourself rest. And that timing you're talking about with pregnancy, I mean, it's really difficult. And I imagine too, like with players that have played on the LPGA Tour that get pregnant and continue to play, how in the world are they able to do that? Are there what are the challenges that they're facing? And are there any added benefits like being pregnant? Like, do you pick up a couple of yards? Like, I'm just generally curious because like technically you gain more weight. It's like, well, you're putting more mass behind the ball. Could you hit it further? I don't know.
No, you literally don't. Everybody that, all of my friends that have played while they were pregnant literally lose so much distance because you lose so much speed because your core disappears. Like just because you're adding a little bit of mass.
You're just rotating.
Oh, total rotating. I went and pitched a couple of times when I was pregnant, and it got to a point where like my club was hitting my belly because I'm not used to having a belly, but my putting got so much better because I was so connected. There was no separation, and I was like, oh, this is like cheating. I love this. So I actually practiced my putting a decent amount, but most of my friends that go out and play, I mean, they get a lot of treatment, make sure that everything's in line. You definitely don't practice as much. A lot of snacks out on the golf course, and you just don't hit it as far. I think for me, the most impressive is when they come back quite quickly after they've had their babies, because as parents, you know that those kids aren't sleeping and you're going out there to play. And they're mostly solo parenting, right? Because like the husbands have to be at home to work. So maybe they have a parent with them or a nanny or whatever. But if your baby cries, like you're up. Doesn't matter if you're the room over or not. Like as a mom, you have this like your body gets hot and like you're like, oh my God, you're not sleeping. So I don't know how they do it when they go out and play and these, the babies are so small. I think that's the most impressive part about it, because you have to function at a very high level and your concentration has to be high and your stamina and all this stuff. And you're exhausted. So.
I mean, are you allowed to take like a medical when you get pregnant on the LPGA Tour?
We have maternity now. So my status is protected till he's 2 years old. You don't get paid or anything. It's just your status is frozen.
Okay. So you have this entire time to like just decide, when I want to, like if and when you want to come back. Like, do you have a timetable? Do you know what you want to do? Like, where's your mind right now?
I'm kind of shooting for 2026. I want to it's different for me because I didn't play throughout my pregnancy. I wasn't able to like keep any sort of routine up when it comes to golf. So I need more time to
So you do have the
practice.
Itch. Like you still have goals. You still feel like you can do it.
I don't know. I don't know where we're going to be at. Like I obviously have the itch because it's all I've ever known in my entire life.
Of course.
It's kind of like part of my identity and kind of dealing with that other side of it of, what's next after this, So I don't know if like part of me is just not ready to let go of that just yet. Part of me hates the way that I finished because the last 2 years of my career so far were in so much pain. And I wasn't able to really enjoy a lot of it. I was still playing fine, but I was just in pain all the time. And so I feel like I deserve a little bit of a better ending. Whether I get that or not, that's obviously, up in the air, but it's something I'm shooting for.
It'd be really cool to get back as a mom too, to go back and play a full-time or whatever a full-time schedule would look like. It would be a lot of fun. I always, think about this. If I still played, winning a golf tournament, having a child, like that's something that always comes to my mind. And two, I was going to bring this up earlier, talking about, lifting up a baby properly. You're talking about lifting a kid every hour, 20-pound kid. And Charlie and I were debating this about like, what's going to stop Scotty Scheffler this year. And we're like, it's what it's going to be. It's going to be the dad back. It goes out like twice a year for new dads. And that's what we thought was going to go out for Scotty Scheffler. But turns out he also was pretty good at engaging his hamstrings and not lifting with his back. So I forgot to get that in earlier.
Wait, but he's still like Scotty's baby is still very like much a baby. I don't think
so we're not going to rule it out. We can't rule it out.
We're at the 20-pound mark yet.
No, we're not. We can't rule it out.
We can't rule it out. It's still a variable.
But winning potentially as a mom when you come back, talk a little bit about like what that would potentially be like for you.
I mean, amazing. I feel like just having that story, they might not remember it. But I guess just having those memories for myself and being able to do it, I think is one of the biggest things, because it's grueling. It's not like, a couple hours here and there. Like you put in the time, you put in the effort, a lot of sacrifice, and then just showing that you're capable of just that sixth gear that, you just kick it into, and being able to share those memories with your son is really cool. It'd be really cool.
Do you ever, kind of get your TV remote out and you turn on YouTube, and, Grayson probably can process, only so much, and Anna Carter too at the same age. And I'll sometimes pull up YouTube and be like, Smylie Kaufman, Shriners Open, and just show her. He's like, hey, there's Dad. Have you done that yet with Grayson? We're typing in Jessica Korda wins at X.
Not yet. Not yet. He's still really young. I think Anna Carter's what, 2?
She's 2 in January. Yeah.
No, we're still at the age of like begging things, and he'll like look up at the TV once in a while. He doesn't comprehend, not yet, but once he will, I'm going to be like, and mommy did this. And
mommy did this. Like, mom's cool. Mom's cool.
Mom's cool. Mom was really cool.
It's still cool. Just disregard the Mama Grinch shirt. Like, we're cool.
My problem is that like I'm gonna have like cool Auntie Nelly and cool Uncle Sebi, and then it's just like, and what'd you do? Like, well, I did it too. I was there.
I was there too. Like, look at all these trophies. Like, we didn't buy these. These aren't anybody else's. These are ours.
I was like, I started this. Like, this mommy started this. Nelly then was second, and then Uncle Sebi was third. But mommy started this.
Well, we're gonna get into your family discussion a little later in this interview. But one of the last things from the LPGA perspective is the schedule and kind of how that relates to your lower back injuries that you did have. The PGA Tour schedule is very much an American schedule. Hardly ever these guys have to hop on a international flight to go overseas to play unless it's the Open Championship, at least the top players. That's kind of how it goes. For the LPGA, that is just not what your life has been. It's been airplanes, airplanes, and airplanes, long flights. Do you think that's had a bit of an impact on injuries for not only you, but other players just having to go play such a wild schedule, which I would like for you to walk us through on kind of where you have to go to play on the LPGA Tour?
Yeah, I mean, fatigue plays a huge role, right? If you're tired and whatever, your whole body feels it. And we do play a decent amount. I mean, there's times when we were playing an event in Jersey, and then we had a major the following week in Seattle, and then the following week we were in Ohio. Like,
it's not like, that's tough in America.
What's going on? And you're flying red eyes, right? So because you need to be there for Monday practice rounds, especially a major. You need to be able to get out on the golf course and play it a couple of times. It's not like you can just fly in on Monday and play it on Tuesday and Wednesday and then you're done. So yeah, definitely fatigue played a big role. But I mean, when I started in 2011, we didn't have too many events. We only had 24 events. As a rookie, I played 15. I finished 90th on the money list with $50,000.
Wow.
Yeah, not a lot. And I traveled outside. I had to go to the British Open and do the Monday qualifier and qualify for that. And I'll never forget. I mean, they're great memories, but it was very stressful because like the playing opportunities were not what they needed to be. And somehow, some way, with Mike's leadership and all the players on tour, like we were able
Mike's
to
great.
get.
I played golf with
Yeah,
him recently. He's an awesome guy.
he got our tour to. I think we were playing like 33 events in 14 different countries. But we went to
Insane.
like every pro-am. We wrote thank you cards. We like, I got to know a lot of our tournament sponsors, the tournament directors, and you have like, it was like more like a family aspect of it where we were just grateful that they were putting money into the tour.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, the travel was insane. I think I went like 5 or 6 weeks in Asia, because that's what we had to do. And you're playing like Malaysia where it's so hot, and then you go to Korea where it was like almost snowing.
How do you pack?
You've had okay. I am just.
Are you a professional packer? Are you?
I'm a terrible overpacker. I am literally the one that always has everything. Like one of my nicknames is Mama Jess, and literally if anybody's missing anything, I had it. It's just I had 2 massive suitcases, completely overweight. I stuffed my golf bag with stuff. I felt bad for anybody lifting my clubs up. I would literally send balls to my caddy because there were times where we had to travel with our own balls.
Yeah.
And gloves and stuff. And so I'm just sending my caddy balls, gloves, and towels. And I'm like, this is your job. I just do not have the room for it. So I had 2 suitcases.
I don't have the pounds for it.
Yes, exactly. I was like 2 suitcases, a carry-on, and a golf bag. And that's how I traveled to Asia, basically. Yeah.
Wow. That's a lot.
Yeah.
So Malaysia, Korea, where else would be on that stretch?
Malaysia, Korea, Japan, China. We would do like an outing. I did an outing in Vietnam. I did an outing in Bali. Did I say Japan already?
Yeah.
Singapore, Thailand.
What is golf like there over? What is it like over there? Is it from a support standpoint? Is it like, are there big crowds? Like for someone that hasn't played much golf internationally, do you feel the love over there being an American?
Yes. They love golf. They love women's golf. Korea, you feel like a total rock star. Literally from getting off the airplane, it's just rock star status all the way through. It's literally insane the amount of people that show up to the events, and they know you. Very respectful. Japan was awesome. I got to play with Ai Miyazato. We had like 6, people 6 deep and like all the way down at the fairway. It was par 5. I'll literally never forget playing in Japan with, one of the greatest female golfers that they've had. And the memories are so fantastic. The support was just, it was incredible. And then you hope that kind of starts trickling over to the States, and it's been getting better and better every year. There's definitely more people interested in women's golf in the LPGA, and it's been so fun to see where the tour has gone literally from when I started in 2011.
You just said it
now.
Like you played 15 events, made 50 grand, finished 90th on y'all's points list. But the influx of money has been noticeable into the women's game. I mean, this past week at the CME, Gino Titakun just won $4 million. That is that's a big number. And the Aramco series has been, awarding sizable prizes for several years now.
Yeah, and Terry Duffy has done such an unbelievable job, and being able to have CME, literally the race to CME, it's our entire a year to get to that event, and he just believes in women and wants to see us at the highest stage, and he wants fairness and for us to get what we deserve, and he kind of set the bar, and now everyone's following, and it's been really cool to see. The majors, going up in prize money has been unbelievable. And once PGA of America came up with KPMG and started putting us on golf courses that, we feel like we should be at, everything kind of started to elevate. And it's been really incredible to see, because getting the respect. It's not necessarily just about the money. It's really about the respect, because we do play golf 4 days. It's the same kind of as the men, basically. You know, we do the same work, same job. But the respect was just different.
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense. And while we're kind of on the discussion of just more money coming to the game, we talk about this every single week with the professional game and the Saudis getting involved with Live Golf. And I talked to plenty of people about this, and it seems like with the Aramco series, the Saudis, you know, being involved with that. Were you aware of at any point with discussions from the Saudis in the women's game, as that was a potential avenue of maybe starting there before they entered with the men's game and Live Golf?
I think their stance or their kind of impact would be how it is on the LET with the Aramco Team Series. I don't feel like there was any serious talk about the Live women's. You always hear rumors.
Yeah, well, I did. I think we all did, right?
Yeah, but I think that their contribution to the women's side has been elevating the Ladies European Tour, because they were struggling. You know, I think that they almost lost that tour as well. So, when the Aramco Team Series came about, it really elevated them, their purses. A lot of the girls that, you know, they're not making that much money. I've talked to a lot of those girls, and they would love to retire and start families, but they just don't have the funds for it. So I think them coming in and being able to elevate the LET has been fantastic. And we go over there to try and support as best we can. But having a Live women's, I mean, I feel like everyone's always just interested because everyone would want to know what that would be like. But in the ecosystem that we're in, I'm not sure if there's space for it.
Yeah, I'm curious. Do you think there would be a bunch of buy-in from the top players? You know, it's such an international game. It seems like the team concepts of how Liv has done it is they've kind of gone, you know, there's an English team, an Australian team. It does make sense from I don't know if the concepts would make sense at all, whether the Saudis would be involved. Do you think there's ever a place for team golf in the women's game?
I don't know. Our schedule's so packed. It really is. I mean, we play January through basically December, with now the Grant Thornton Invitational being in December. It is an unofficial event, but you're literally playing, and then we start again at end of January for Tournament of Champions. So I don't know realistically how you would put that into our schedule. That's something obviously to be discussed if that ever came about. And
yeah, it's interesting.
I mean, everyone's obviously looking at the money aspect of it and being like, oh, that's very intriguing. Same as, you know, PGA Tour players. And totally. I don't know who would go. I don't know what that would look like. I truly have no idea. And I think that was why it maybe never even happened, because nobody would know what that would even look like.
Well, we love gossip. Who doesn't love gossip? So we just like to, you know, just potentially portray what it would look like. We like the gossip. We want to hear the chit chat. So not putting you on the spot and all this. We just wanted to ask you about that.
Just, you know, everyone likes to talk about it, and there's always like the hypotheticals, but in reality, there's actually never really been any serious discussions about it. So I feel like in terms of putting a rumor to rest, that would be it. And their contribution to women's golf is definitely on the LET tour. But I also do love playing hypotheticals. So,
well, there was two other questions that I forgot to get to in regards to y'all's travel and how difficult it is. And I forgot to ask one of my favorite questions, which is about airlines. Did you have a least favorite airline that you flew during all of your travels, one that comes to mind? And how many frequent flyer miles do you have? Like, I feel like that's a humble brag you can bring out at dinner with people.
American Airlines, do not like them. I just always lost a bag, always delayed, just the big no, or canceled flights or whatever. I've been a Delta girl through and through. I hit million miler status like
Did you?
4 years ago.
What?
Maybe more.
Oh my gosh. That's insane.
I think I have like 1.5 million miles flown.
Yeah, that's
But
stupid.
then I have like almost 2 million miles to like spend or whatever. But I also have the credit card. So you got to play the game. Like, obviously, I don't play the hotel game. I just play the airline game. But I also have status on United. I feel like I have like whatever is under like the highest one, because you just United is great for like Asia. Delta doesn't fly as often or like to different parts. There's a lot more options on the Star Alliance side when it comes to Asia, but I'm just a Delta girl through and through. Like I will go to war for them. I love them so much.
Man, you just hit all the spots there. Just making sure we were all on the same page from an airline front.
Yes.
That'd have been tough to hear you being like, American, yes, Delta, no. Like, all right, see you, Jess. Had a good talk.
Yeah. Thanks so much for coming on my podcast.
And the last question with this, when it comes to the travel and airlines, we just had the CME just finished up, and we had 3 careers retire. Brittany Lincecum, Marina Alex, Lexi Thompson, all American players, some younger than others, Lexi being pretty young compared to Brittany, obviously. But, is there anything to do with, you just talked about how long the schedule is, that there isn't really any break. Is there a huge burnout rate, you think, with just young Americans, that they get on the LPGA Tour, and then, when it gets to a point in your life when you want to start a family, it's like, God, I just don't know how many years I have to where I'm going to be able to handle this type of travel.
Absolutely. For Britt, for example, she has 2 young daughters, and Emery just started, I think, first grade. So I think for her, just traveling with Sophia, you can't just take one.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, well, where are you going? Why can't I go? So I think it just gets obviously more difficult as the kids get older. If you have 1, you can always kind of just take them around and it's not that bad. But 2, it definitely gets a lot tougher. And there is a lot of burnout. You're really tired at the end of the year. There's a lot of travel. And you do it for, I think Marino is 10 years. Or maybe more, 11 years. Lincecum like 20 something.
Yeah.
Lincecum's played forever.
I feel like Lexi's been doing it for,
Lexi's been 8 years old and she's been, she's been doing it. I'm excited for Lexi. I think she deserves a little bit of a break here. And who knows, she might be back in like 2 years and just ready to go again. And, but a lot of my friends have retired, and it's definitely tough to see. And but I'm excited to see what their next chapters are going to look like. This is chapter 1, and we'll see what chapter 2 looks like for all of them.
So let's put the commissioner hat on, Jessica. We do this with every now and then with guests, and just, how we can improve the tour. So there's plenty of events being played. You just documented that. But Commissioner Korda, how would you make it to where we can lengthen careers, but also keep prize money up and have meaningful, eventful events to where players don't have to play, 20 plus events? Like, can you condense a schedule to where you can make it work? Would Commissioner Korda be for that, or do you like the way it's kind of set up now with plenty opportunities to play to make money?
It's tough because when you're a top player, you're expected to play every week, right? Like the sponsors want the top players to be playing every week, and that's just not realistic. So you want playing opportunities for the girls on tour. For me, it would be flow of schedule. I would like to see us not going East Coast, West Coast. Like I think golf.com did this a couple of years ago where they did the little airplane for each event.
Oh, gosh.
And if you looked at our schedule opposed to, I think, PGA Tour, I mean, it was ridiculous. It really put it into perspective.
The males are prima donnas is what they are.
Anytime any of my guy friends complain about any kind of travel, I literally just sit there and I'm like, really? You're going to complain to me about your travel? Really? Yeah. So I would love to see a better flow, for the tour. And it's also like tour officials, right? Like you want the best people working for the tour. And if you have this sort of travel year to year to year, like everyone's going to be exhausted. Everyone's just not going to be looking forward to it. And I feel like if we just had like a West Coast swing, whatever swing, like an Asia swing, a Europe swing, we do basically have a Europe swing, but even in the Europe swing, we're traveling back to the States to go back to Europe. Like, it's a lot. So I would like to see a little bit more flow in the schedule. We've been saying that for years, but you got to get the sponsors to kind of work with you on that.
Yeah, totally. So all that makes sense. And I appreciate you, Commissioner Korda, for giving your insight on that.
I'm happy to oblige.
Well, let's get the last part of this interview we got to talk about is your family history, which is it's so interesting. Like I didn't realize until just doing some just basic research before talking with you today, Jess, of your Czech background. I didn't know. I thought like just like full on American Jessica Korda, but I didn't. You've played for like the Czech team.
Wow, you really did some digging.
Yeah, I was like, what in the world? How did I miss this? But we got Nelly, we got Sebastian, who's an incredible male tennis player, and then your parents, who, you know, your dad Peter, is it pronounced Peter?
Mm-hmm.
I assume that's what we're missing an E in there. So I just was making sure it wasn't something else. And then your mother, who was a fantastic women's tennis player. So I guess my first question in this would be, having two tennis parents, were you pushed into anything as a kid? Because I heard you say earlier that 5 years old, you were swinging a golf club. I would imagine that tennis would be something that's easily like, hey, Jess, you're the first. Let's get that tennis racket going.
They never pushed us to play a specific sport. We were always encouraged to play all sports. I mean, I did gymnastics, figure skating, the golf, tennis, skied. Like we did all the sports as soon as we were able to. Like we were encouraged to do everything, and then whatever kind of fell into our lap in terms of the love for is what we ended up doing. I love gymnastics and figure skating, but with an almost 6-foot frame, they did not see that as a future for me. So, and living in Florida, you know, that's just, again, not something that was a feasible goal. So I was encouraged to play like golf and tennis, and I did not like tennis at all. I love watching it. The rumor is I didn't like to sweat, which joke's on me because you also sweat in golf. But I just loved golf because I was able to play with everybody. Like I could go play with my grandpa. I could go play with my dad. I could go play with kids my age. Most of my friends are 5 years older than me, or 4 or 5 years older than me. And I was playing off the guys' tees and, as an 8-year-old, like tipped out, but I was able to play, you know, with these cool kids, and I loved every moment of it. And that's like what motivated me to play golf, is I could play with anybody and everybody.
And your parents, and, you know, when you're a professional athlete, I think you know what it takes to be the best at your sport. For you, like, do you feel like that was so helpful for you as a junior growing up and even into amateur golf, having parents that know what it takes to be the best in the world at what they do? Do you feel like you had a head start almost in becoming a professional because of your parents?
I wouldn't say as a professional. I think that is more up to you. Right. If that's something that you want to do. We were never pushed to be professionals. We were always pushed to play sports, because that's something that's really important in our family, is just to be able to play something, right? We loved school, like they would have encouraged us to do school stuff. Like it was just more of like what we enjoyed doing. For me, our parents are unbelievable at creating schedules, and we never burnt out. I got most of my summers off. I would play, I think when I was 15, so 2008 was my first year in the US, full year. We usually spent 6 months here and then 6 months in Czech Republic. And I would go there in the winters or summers and I wouldn't play. I would play like here and there, but I
I
would,
didn't know you were going back and forth. Here, look at me.
yeah.
I did not know this. They need to update your dang profile on Wiki.
Oh God. But yeah, we basically just, oh wait, it was the first full year here because I qualified for the U.S. Women's Open and then played like Betsy Roll's Invitational, the AGGA event. And I played, and I don't think I actually ever played like TOC or anything like that. So, but I played more AJGAs starting when I was 15. So they were just great at creating a schedule and kind of setting me up that way.
Yeah.
And then I got to play on a couple of USGA teams, Curtis Cup team, World AM team, and a Copa team. So it was really cool. And Q School was something that I always wanted to do. Like for me, that was my path. Once I played my first US Women's Open, it was like a high. It was a drug I needed. Like I needed to play in the next US Women's Open and the next one.
And that's made it easy for you to not decide to go to college, right? Like you're like, I'm going to be a professional golfer. I know you got the taste of it. Like there was no looking back after that.
It was literally like eyes wide open and I knew exactly what I wanted. And I even went to school and I told my parents and I was like, I'm going to go online. So my junior year, I think I took like 11 courses online. I went to school from 8 to 8:45 and then I took like an expository writing class and I was like, yes, sick. Like that's an English course done. And then I would go to the golf course and I would practice and do school in my lunch hour and then practice a little bit more and then go home and do school. Like it was literally my life. And all I had in front of me was Q school, Q school, Q school.
Mm-hmm.
And, yeah.
What college would you have picked?
I would have I actually really liked Arkansas. I love the coaches. They were super nice in the way that they were like pursuing me. I would have probably stayed closer to home in Florida. And then I had a couple of friends go to Alabama. So those were yeah, I know. Yeah. But those were
I'm just kidding. I got a lot of friends that went to Alabama.
Do you?
I do.
But yeah, those are kind of like the two like that I was really looking at. And
oh gosh,
I had
you'd
a
have
lot
been
of
there
friends
with,
at Florida.
if you'd have gone to Alabama, you would have been there with Hannah Collier. That would have been something. Do you know Hannah? I'm sure.
I like know her, but not. Yeah, and like Emma Talley.
Emma too. That's right. God, y'all had a good time.
Yeah.
Well, let's continue on with your family, and we'll go to Nelly last. So Sebastian, who I don't know if I've been on a Whoop group with him, but this is a healthy individual based on seeing his Whoop stats. They're frustrating. And yours are too. Your HRV and the Korda family is frustrating because I'm over here down hanging out at like trying to breathe with my heart rate variability. And y'all are like, woo, we're like hanging out in the high, like triple digits. Like what the heck?
Your resting heart rate's good though.
It is. Yeah.
Yeah.
But something's got to give. I need to figure out this HRV thing.
I'm dead. Yeah, no, I don't have any advice for you on that one, but he's impressive. Seb's, I think, the best athlete in the family. He could definitely compete with my dad. Dad's very, very athletic and everything that he does. Could have been a professional skier. Could have been a professional tennis player. Plays golf really well. Played hockey. Like literally our dad could do anything. And Seb started playing hockey. He was on a travel team. Like we've gone to every dinky ice rink in the state of Florida.
Following him around.
Oh my God. Let me tell you, little hockey boys smell so bad. The gloves, everything. Anytime I talk to a parent and they're like,
so you hate hockey now, probably. You're just like, no thanks.
No, I just ask everyone, I'm like, what do you guys do about like skates and like the gloves? Like they just smell so bad. But yeah, Seb's an unbelievable athlete. He's a lefty in golf and hockey and a righty in tennis and everything else.
Sure, why not?
He's got one of the most pure swings you've seen and freaking pumps it out there like it's no big deal. And then he's great at tennis, but tennis wasn't his first love. And all of a sudden he just came home one day after going to a tennis tournament with dad. He was coaching another guy at the time, and he was like, "This is what I want to do." And
is your dad coach Seb now?
Yeah, he's like a part coach.
Yeah, gotcha. It's hard. I can't imagine being like fully coached by my dad in something like that's hard because the ups and downs in any professional sport are hard.
Yeah, I admire everybody that has like one, their spouse caddying for them, and two, a parent coach. That's just rough.
A spouse caddying is a total different, like those people must have a great relationship to be able to handle the adversities that you have. On the golf
I like how you call them adversities. I just call them meltdowns.
Meltdowns. There you go.
Yeah, no, it definitely very, very special people.
Because Fran used to just like, she was always checking my attitude on the golf course because I was a hothead. Like I'm the first person to like want to kick a trash can and just like yell into my shirt, like any type of expletive in my shirt and yell it as loud as I can and think nobody will hear it just because I yelled it in my shirt. But I have to rubber band slide. I have to feel some type of pain and to like deal with this frustration because I got to get over it somehow. And like, I don't want to just like hold it in because I don't know. I wish there was a bubble that I can create for professional golfers that they can just yell anything they want or like a pillow they can carry or something that would allow them to be able to release anger.
Yes. Sometimes, yeah. I agree. It's just like you need like just like a 5-second.
Yeah.
Let go.
Yes. Yes, exactly.
Yeah. No, I agree.
All right. So how many years older are you than Nelly? Is it 4 or 5?
5.
5 years older. At what point, I guess, for Jessica, did you realize that Nelly was going to be a really good golfer? How old were you?
How old was I? Ooh.
Yeah. Because I mean, that's what I'm just thinking about.
I gotta carry the two. I always knew from a very young age Nelly was going to be good because she has this like fiery attitude about her. There's a story. I don't even know if anyone's ever said the story, but she was playing a junior golf tournament and Nelly always wore my hand-me-downs or I would get her like Adidas shoes or whatever it was. So I was a supplier. And I think this one girl showed up in like the same outfit or same shoes or something. And it upset Nelly so bad that she went out and was just like, I'm going to beat you. Like, I don't care about how many, like you're going down. Golf is not match play. But Nelly took it as like a match play thing and won the tournament just because she had that like,
you can't wear
motivation. Yeah. Just like upset her. But she's always been super fiery and like would rather like, I don't even know. She would rather like beat you down than get beaten.
Yeah.
And when we were younger, we would never really compete against each other because I was so much older than her. So it was more just like mentoring her, I guess. It was like, oh, let's like go do some short game here and there and whatever. But when she was at golf tournaments, man, she was fiery. So I think she qualified for her first U.S. Women's Open just short of her 15th birthday, and made the cut on the number at Sabonic. Like incredible, right? 14 years old, just falling out like it's no one's business. And then after that, I was always like, yeah, this is like she's
okay. So that was the
gonna
time.
do this.
So you're 19 or so years old when you're like, all right, no, she's gonna be really good.
Yeah, and then she played Symetra the first year, or Epson Tour the first year, and had like a hard time traveling because it's a lot more golf than junior golf, right? You're playing more rounds, way more pressure. There's only a certain amount of cards. She didn't want to go to Q school and all this stuff. So I think that was such a good learning experience for her to travel week to week and really grind it out. And then when she came out on tour, literally, I think within the first 2 rounds, she like beat me. And I'm just standing there. I'm like, yay, finally. like it's over. We don't have to talk about this or think about this. Like we're done. But then, out on tour, you could just tell like it's never been a matter of if, it's always just a matter of when. And I always said that to everybody. I'm like, it's not if, it's when.
Yeah. So what was it that you saw that clicked in Nelly's game to be able to take her from, a really good player to a world-class player and the best player in the world?
Um, it's just everything. She drove the ball well. She had a good short game. She's fearless. Young kids, when you're young, you have no scar tissue.
No scar tissue.
So,
Exactly.
yeah. And I think a lot of that helped. It helped that my whole thing was I wanted to make her as comfortable as possible out on tour, because I knew how hard it was for me my first couple of years,
Right.
being super young, traveling. It's not the easiest environment to grow up, because
Right.
you are still growing up. You're 18 years old or 17 years old when I started, and you're growing up still. So I wanted to make that transition as smooth as possible. And by the time Nelly had come out, she wasn't intimidated by playing with Suzanne Pedersen. She wasn't intimidated by seeing Morgan or Paula or Kirk. She would just walk up to everybody and just say hi, because she's been around for so long. And I think the comfort of that really helped as well to transition her into the LPGA Tour. And then after that, it was just, again, like our parents managing our schedules to a way that benefited us, our bodies, our minds, and never really burning out. And the rest is she's just incredible. It was never a matter of if, it was just a matter of when.
Well, my competitive nature, my best friends on tour, like I never, I guess the best way to phrase it, like when I was watching leaderboards, when I was playing on tour, I wanted to beat my best friends like more than anything. Like I would look at the leaderboards and be like, what are these guys at today? Like I want to beat them. Did you have that type of deal when you were playing on tour with Nelly? Did you want to beat her, or were you like pumped to see her on top of the leaderboard? Was it mixed emotions on that? I'm curious, like if you're still like really competitive with Nelly out there.
So for me, it was always a battle, because I still do have the mindset of just wanting to help her and like see her. I have more of like a mom, not a relationship, but like a feeling towards her. So it's less of like, I want to beat you down. It's more of like, I want to see you rise.
What'd you call yourself earlier? Did you call yourself Mama Court? What did you call yourself?
Mama Jess.
Mama Jess. Okay. The Mama Jess is coming out here.
Yeah. So I always like wanted her to do well, but obviously at the end of the day, like I wanted to beat her.
Yeah.
So it was always a battle. Like we played in the final round together at Tournament of Champions a couple of years ago. And the entire time in my head, I was like taking notes on like what I can tell her after to like get better or like make it easier, because we have never played together and like that high of a.
How cool is that?
Stressful. Oh, so cool. Also super weird, but like really cool, because again, you're like trying to encourage each other, both of us, but also like, I want to win this tournament. So like, get out of my way. But yeah, it's incredible. I did.
Let's go.
Yeah. She actually.
What did she do like down the stretch? Did she screw up or something? You're like, that was something that you're going to tell her after the round?
No, I actually shot 60 the day before to get myself ahead. Gotcha. And she had like an average-ish round. It was still good, but like it wasn't something that she was just too far back. Like I think she ended up like beating me on the day, but I ended up like winning. But she'll tell you that she gave me the read on this par 3 that ended up propelling me to make more birdies and like gave me the momentum to go and win.
Sure.
So.
Okay.
But it was really fun.
Younger sister always finding a little excuse here.
No, I mean, she's like I said, she's brutal though. Like she'll definitely be the one that's like, no, I want to take her down. Like she had a putt to knock me out of top 10, and she was like, yeah. I saw the leaderboard and I was like, if I make this, you're out. And she did it, and I was like, great, you're paying for the hotel room this week.
Hey, that's only right in that. Yeah. I mean, that's only right. It's just like when you share a house with another couple tour pros. If you win that week, you have to pay for the house. So similar deal there.
Absolutely. 110%.
All right. Well, the Grant Thornton's coming up. And if I saw this correctly, you're going to be doing a little media Grant Thornton week. Are we going to be an on-course reporter that week? Or what are we doing? In the booth? What are we doing?
No, I'm literally just like handling the behind the scenes stuff that maybe people
Some interviews.
Yes, but also
Love
just
it.
maybe just, I think the coolest part of Grant Thornton has been the mingling of the two tours. So
Right.
you walk into player dining and people are always wondering, oh, are you guys like talking to each other?
You're
Like,
the
what does
gossip
it
girl.
look like?
You're gossip
Yes.
girl.
Yes. Yes. Coming to you live.
And you
from
want to bring it
GT.
out to us. You want to bring it out to us. Okay.
I just want people to see like the human side of it and just how cool it is, and that girls and guys can play together. And I loved when I was growing up. I play with guys all the time. And I just love the aspect that we have two tours coming together, growing the game of golf, hitting two different fan bases, bringing those together, different eyeballs. And from what I heard last year, a lot of the guys learned a lot from the girls, and the girls learned so much from the guys. Like the guys are like, they never miss fairways.
God.
Their proximity to the hole.
Fairway.
Yeah, you hear Jason Day talking about lids, hybrid into 17, like it was the greatest shot ever, and he's like, with a wood.
We don't hit woods.
Yeah. So, it's just really fun to I guess get the recognition from the guys, because you're the one that's always watching them in
Right.
hopes that they're watching as well, and they are, and that's the coolest part about it. And you walk into player dining and you have the team sitting together and talking about just life and sharing tour stories and sharing just life journeys. And so it's just really fun to be able to have that event, not just the golf side of it, but also just like the human side of it is cool. So that'll be my job. My job is to cover the outside and give you the scoop.
Yes, please report all gossip to the Smylie Show. We would love to report it as well. So we'll be looking forward to watching you, Jess, at the Grant Thornton with interviews. And yeah, to your point, talking about just the women's playing with the men's. I grew up basically with the Thompsons in junior golf, amateur golf, and Curtis went to LSU. And so I played a bunch with Lexi. And Lexi and I were paired together at the Franklin Templeton shootout. And she was playing with Bryson. I was playing with JT. And I remember the second hole, because she's playing the same tees as us, and Lexi pipes one. And JT and I look at each other like, this is not a good time to hit the heel ball, because she smoked it out there. And I tell you what, I like kind of missed it on the bottom. And I'm just thinking in my head, go. And it covered by like 5 yards over a ball. I'm like, thank God. And that's like, in my mind, like watching Lexi play that whole day, I'm like, goodness gracious, people have no idea how good Lexi is and how great the women's sport is, and how many other great women's players there are.
Yeah, no, it's really fun. Like I said, that was Lexi. I wouldn't say paved the way, because there have been others that have played with the men, and you have Michelle and you have Annika, and that kind of dipped their toe into that. But to have Lexi do it every year, it was, yeah. And now to have this event, I think everybody was so excited about it. Yeah. And I'm just so glad to see, the excitement going into this year as well.
Well, Jess, we're rooting for your comeback. We're rooting for you as a mom. We're excited to see the next stages of Grayson's life, your life as a mom, but also our apologies as well for anybody that listens to the show. Everybody knows we're not a math or time zones podcast, so apologies again for the confusion of what time we were going to record. This is something we deal with every day on the show, so again, apologies.
I'm so glad that I texted you when I did, because I would have been very, very, very late.
Well, it was my fault, because it's a communication issue. So happy to get this done. We're so thrilled to do this interview, and look forward to having you back on for all the scoop and gossip, and hopefully more mom updates.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me on. I'm honored to be your first girl.
Yes, thank you. We need like a little applause.
I know. Background music.
There it is. Jessica Korda, thank you very much.
Thank you.
I listen to this podcast. It's really cool. And
all of our lovely fans and subscribers, but make sure you like and subscribe.
It's cool to see what you guys are doing. I know golf fans appreciate it, but we do too, so please keep it up.
For all the good people of YouTube, like and subscribe.
you guys have some good takes, so I'm happy to come on and shoot the